Hi, today we are looking at Uncanny X-Men issue 2, written by Gail Simone, drawn by David Marquez, and colored by Matthew Wilson. Full spoilers ahead, so you're forewarned. The issue starts with a flashback scene of Professor X sitting on a bench in what I think is a subtle callback to the scene with Moira in Hoxpox. I actually thought we are going to get a link here to Krakoa. Hi, Future Tyler here. I like the tease here as well. We see a silhouette of a female speaking to Xavier, which turns out to be someone new, Sarah. And from now on, I will use lonely in place of the H word, or I do not float local custom. That works too. Um, I'm puzzled regarding how we got to the confrontation between the X-Men and the kids from where we left off last issue. How did it go from help us to Wolverine going, they are on the line, whatever that means? And why would Logan pop his claws out at someone asking for help? I mean, going back and rereading issue one, the X-Men were surprised, which was why Remy charged up the cards and Logan popped up his claws. I do agree that there was no need for him to approach the kids with his claws popped, since they were clearly asking for help. Maybe, just maybe, Sophia, aka Jitter, speaks with a Singaporean accent, and they could not quite understand her initially. um, can we take a moment and relish the fact that Jeter is from Singapore? I believe this is the first time a major mutant character from our country is introduced. Yeah, there was a banker, I think, way back during Claremont's run, but he was a really minor character and he appears maybe once or twice. Yeah, I mean, often with an Asian character, they are from East Asia, Korea, Japan, China, but there ain't that many Southeast Asian characters. Anyway, I think Rogue's inner monologue alluded to a change in Logan since he came back later in this issue. Came back from where though? Well, I think likely from the first arc that is currently running in Wolverine, which specifically says that the arc happened before Uncanny X-Men issue 1 and X-Men issue 1. Not quite in between like we initially thought. And also, you might have missed it. Logan unpopped his claws after Gambit accidentally shot that magical bolt out at Ransom. Speaking of Ransom, he mentioned the Brotherhood. Who? I assume that was a reference to Cyclops' team, since he told the agent in X-Men issue 3 that he could have easily called himself the Brotherhood instead of the X-Men. But it could be a faction of dispersed Krakoans that we have yet to see, calling themselves the Brotherhood, given this era tendency to revert to things pre-Krakoa. Okay. Um, Kaliko claimed she's not a mutant. It's her denying that fact. And we know this because the information released on social media states that she is a mutant. There are interesting choices of words here. Her mom taught her that mutants are goblins. She shouted Pegasus, Knight, when she transformed herself and Ember, her horse. So there's definitely a fantasy theme going on here. And she is blonde and drawn to look a little like flashback Sarah, whom is revealed to be the hag, the thing that is hunting them at the end of this issue. So I wonder if she's Sarah's and Professor X's daughter, since Sarah is blonde and Professor X is apparently blonde too. Well, age-wise, Calico seems too young to be their daughter, but she could be their granddaughter. There are a lot of hints, as you mentioned. The fantasy themes is one. Another one is that in a hack hierarchy, They are often matriarch in nature. And the hag said, "Come to mommy" last issue when she captured Rosa. So, well, at least in the fifth edition of D&D, that is the case. So maybe there's a subtle hint at the relationship here. Um, and also don't forget that when Sarah asked Xavier for help to hoist her up to retrieve her frisbee, she said, "Make a stir up," which is related to horse riding, and Calico has a horse. Which reminded me, Sarah also said that the other students are calling Xavier a pagan, a witch boy, and that there are two shadowed characters behind the hag, like carrying swords on their waists. There you go, fantasy theme, horse related stuff, and visually both Sarah and Calico has are blonde, and they both have green eyes. No one can blame us for reading too much into this when they are meant to be read into. Anyway, Jubilee finally appears at the end of the fight from her recon mission, as shown in the Free Comic Book Day story. It feels odd that Rogue calls Jubilee Jubilation. I mean, I do not remember anyone calling her by her real name. Um, Ever. Sounds like so mom-like to me. I mean, she was definitely the mom to Ransom. Like, no, no beer for you. And also, you, Anna and Remy, get a room and not say things like "put my mouth so hard" and things in pants like in front of everyone. I do love that the reaction from the four kids are all different and signals a little bit of their personalities. Um, we also get the other half of the Rogue and Cyclops conversation in this issue. Scott jumped to a conclusion here, right? Actually, no. I think Scott read Rogue correctly. She's going to break into and tear down the Grey Milken prison. Well, talking about the prison, I still can't get over how hateful Dr. Alice is and the way she talks down to people. Simone is really setting her up to be hated. Yeah, I initially thought they caught a hearing impaired mutant, but she seems to suggest that the mutant lost his hearing because of the perimeter defense. She could have simply asked if the mutant tried sneaking in, but she had to go the roundabout way of like exerting her superior knowledge. Ugh. And then, talking about running the new mutant through the danger room, what does that even mean? And fixing what? And what is meant by making Cyrene a trustee? I'm a little bit confused with the Dr. Alice's scenes, but I'm also intrigued. I mean, like I said last issue, this is my least favorite part of the story in Uncanny X-Men. It does not ring very true to me that Professor X's dad is a threat or a blow to all mutants. I mean, a dream for a better future do not die when the dreamer dies. Well, which is why Dr. Alice's podcast sucks. She can't even threaten properly. The art is beautiful last issue. It is still beautiful in this one. If I have to nitpick, Siren looks way too young here. But otherwise, I enjoy the art immensely. There are many characters in this issue, and there are lots of close-up of faces, and each one is distinct. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. To prove that a picture can say or tell 1,000 words. Okay, maybe not that many. I'll point to the expression on Logan's face when Jada asked for help. The look of him giving in after he said that he will no longer be a guardian, be another Uncle Uvi. It is so wonderfully drawn. I also love that scene of Sarah, like her legs mushing into Xavier's face, and how Xavier looks almost innocent in that flashback, and Sarah is obviously sultry and smoldering. I also like that Death Dream has a manga anime look to him, complete with like dots for eyes in one of the panel. And it is not just Death Dream. When Gambit through jitters, her face is absolutely an anime manga face. And also when she said, "Call me Jitter," same kind of look. There's another thing there's a lot of in this issue. There are a lot of lengthy legs shots. Sarah, Rogue, Jitter, Alice, Hag. I did not notice them until you pointed that out. Another thing I enjoyed about the art is how the manifestations of powers are drawn. I especially like Jitters and her fight with Gambit. The many stack outline of her is a very neat effect. The light trails effect given to Jubilee's power is also pretty cool. I think we would be remiss not to at least mention Wilson's coloring. The subtle shading are very effective, and the almost watercolor quality given to some of the backgrounds brings the art to another level, I think. So, in conclusion, I still enjoy this, even though there were several things that sort of bothered me when I first read it. I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. On the reread, especially coupled with reread of issue 1, almost all the things that bothered me on the first read did not. I will bump this up to a 4 out of 5. Okay? So, with that, this is a must read for all X fans and for fans of good comics that are well written and well drawn. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button below. Please share this video and comment as well. Tyler out.